Most shooters think they need the range to improve. The truth is, the majority of your skills are actually built at home. And if you're not doing this, you're really slowing your progress down. Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm going to walk you through my full dry fire routine that I do at home. So for my beginners out there, there's two types of fire that you can do. You can do live fire, which is going to confirm your skills that you already have. And then there's dry fire, which is going to help you actually build those skills. So before we start, a few safety rules that I like to implement is, first and foremost, remove your magazine. Whenever you take your firearm out, remove your magazine. Make sure it's clear. I always leave my ammo in a different room. I don't dry fire in the same room where my ammo is and all my other stuff. And then another thing I do is for my target, I like to put my target on, honestly, whatever wall, facing away from everybody. And I always do a black circle on my targets. It just helps me find a small spot on the target to just keep looking at and aiming at whenever I'm doing my dry fire drill. So this first drill is gonna be a grip placement drill. I know a lot of people have asked me how I do my grip. We're gonna do a slow draw to presentation and really just concentrate on our grip. Now, my grip, I can't even say it's 100% correct. I don't even know what 100% correct grip would be, honestly. Grip is so subjective. Everybody's hands are a different size. Wrist strength is different. Grip is one of those things where you just have to do what works for you, but still keep the fundamentals intact, all right? So my grip, my draw hand, I'm using a lot of my pressure is gonna be on these two fingers, okay? I'm not squeezing the life out of this firearm, okay? Most of the pressure when I'm drawing is gonna be on these two fingers, all right? And then when I'm drawing, I'm making sure that I get a good grip back here as well, okay? I don't want it to be like super loose, so I wanna make sure when I'm drawing, I'm honestly pressing down on it because I wanna make sure I get a good grip on there. So if you're squeezing too hard, your trigger finger is not gonna be able to move how it needs to move, all right? That's why a lot of the pressure is just on these two fingers. My middle finger's honestly just kind of here, you know what I'm saying? Because when I'm doing the rapid fire, it helps my finger move a lot faster, okay? Now, if I'm squeezing the gun really hard, I can't go as fast as I want to because all my pressure is on my fingers, okay? So that's just me. But on my draw hand, my pinky and my ring finger is what's gonna be squeezing the gun the most, and back here on the beaver tail. Now, for my support hand, the support hand is honestly one of the hardest things because you'll hear a lot of stuff. You'll hear, oh, you only do 70%, 60%, 50%. For me personally, it's just like, how do you know? how do you know if you're doing 70%? How do you know if you're doing 50%, okay? So what I do is with my support hand, all this space back here is what my palm is gonna fill that area, this back portion of my palm, okay? I do a more forward grip, okay? So when I'm gripping with my support hand, this finger, like I said, it's just me personally, this finger right here is gonna go to the end of the trigger guard, right up under the flashlight if you're doing flashlight. And then I go a little high up on the frame, okay? But you essentially, regardless of how far forward your hand is, all this space back here, you want your palm to really feel this area, okay? And as far as the pressure, just practice, feel it out, see what feels best. Me personally, I put quite a bit of pressure back here, okay? Because this hand, your support hand, is really what's helping you control that recoil, okay? All right, so to continue off with this drill, what we're gonna be doing is drawing, okay? And when I'm drawing, somebody actually really helped me with my draw. And that's one thing I've been working on, and my splits have really increased a lot. So I definitely appreciate, I need to probably pin in the comments whoever that was. but I definitely appreciate your help on that. So when I'm drawing, I'm pulling the firearm pretty much to my chest, okay? And then with your support hand, what I was doing was my support hand was too far away. So I put it a lot closer. So when I'm drawing, I can connect to the firearm immediately. And so by the time it's to my chest, I can just point out and my grip is already established, okay? So what we're gonna do is on your target, find that small spot. We're gonna do 20 of them. All right, we're just gonna draw slow, get your grip, present, and get a good sight picture and reholster, all right? Another thing too, when you reholster, okay, this is just me, I'm a big safety person. When you reholster, look that bad boy in there, okay? It's fine. People are gonna say what they're gonna say. I look my weapon into my holster, okay? And work on not being super tense. That's one thing. I'm a big dude, so I'm naturally just kind of tense. So one thing I've always worked on is trying not to be super tense. Remember, these are slow, okay? You don't need a timer for this. These are slow. You just want to work on going from a draw, getting your grip, and getting a good sight picture. And just concentrate on that small spot you put on the target. All right, now for this next drill, this is gonna be a trigger press drill. I really like this drill because accuracy, a lot of the times, it's definitely gonna come from your grip, but it's gonna come from your trigger press, okay? Now, working on a trigger press, you don't want to have your finger just engulfed in your trigger, all right? The small portion of your finger right here, that's what I use, okay? So when you get to that first edge, that's how I know I've gone too far. That pad, that is pretty much what I'm using, you know? So when I'm here, I'm just using that pad to press the trigger, all right? I'm not going all the way in there, okay? If you're going all the way in there, you're gonna start pulling your shots, all right? So just use the pad of your finger, just work on that, and start getting a good trigger press from there. So for this drill, we're already gonna be extended out towards the target, okay? We're gonna have a good sight picture already. And all we're gonna do is find that small spot. If you drew a circle on your target, line your dot up with that circle and press your trigger, all right? You want your dot to not move from that spot at all. If you're seeing that when you're pulling your trigger, your dot is just dropping, that means work on how you're pressing your trigger, okay? Work on just getting the pad of your finger on that trigger, all right? And just really concentrate on that spot of the target. Okay, so for this next drill, all you're gonna need is an empty casing, okay? Empty 9mm, whatever caliber casing that you have. Or you can use a quarter. A quarter works good as well. This drill is one of my favorites, okay? It's gonna be a continuation of the last drill we just did, all right? So this is gonna be another trigger press drill, all right? So all we're doing is you're gonna sit this empty casing on the top of your barrel, all right? And we're gonna extend out. And you're working on just keeping that casing or that quarter on top of your barrel, okay? It may block your sight a little bit, but that's fine, okay? So again, we're gonna do like 20 or 30 trigger pulls, all right? And all we're doing is working on just being as steady as possible. All right, so for this next drill, this is gonna be a presentation drill, okay? So we're gonna work on drawing, of course, but what we're gonna work on is bringing the firearm up to our line of sight, okay? What you don't wanna do, you don't wanna draw, bring the firearm up and then drop your head to the firearm, okay? What you wanna do, you wanna be looking at your target, all right? When you draw, you wanna bring the firearm up to meet your eye line, okay? And what that's gonna do is gonna help fix a lot of problems people are having with trying to find your red dot. I know that's a huge problem, trying to find your red dot. You wanna work on getting that muscle memory to where when you draw and you're pointing at your target, that dot should be right in your line of sight, okay? If you're drawing low and you're ducking your head down to, meet your sight, that's not the proper way to do it, honestly. But we're gonna do 20 of these. We're gonna do 20 of these. We're gonna draw, work on bringing that firearm up to your line of sight. Okay. These are all gonna be slow. So what you should notice is your head should not be moving once you're drawing. You should get your grip good. Bring it right on up to your eyesight. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's what I do for my dry fire routine at home. It doesn't take any more than 10, 15 minutes. Real easy, real quick. But if you do this every day, your skills are gonna definitely improve. Once you go to the range and actually apply live ammo, you will see how your fundamentals have really improved, how your grip has improved, how your trigger press has improved. So definitely save this for later. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.